Faaiza Omar. It's so lovely to have you on the stream, known as the Stylish Baker, and with over 20 years of experience. You've been featured on television, you've got your own cookbook. I'm really excited to have you and to first start off with hearing more about how your journey started.
Okay, thank you, Marissa. It's lovely to be on your platform. Yeah, so basically, I love baking. I didn't always love baking. I mean, I helped my mom in the kitchen when I was growing up, like just for Eid and stuff, but not like hardcore baking. And then as I got older, I started experimenting with like birthday cakes for my sisters. And then I got hooked on like trying to do like macarons, and that's quite technical.
Yes.
And yeah, then I was just like obsessed. I just started obsessing about perfecting the macaron and just kept on going and experimenting. And then with traveling as well, like trying out different pastries and flavors, I was always just wanting to recreate everything that I tasted somewhere.
Okay, amazing. And how did it come about baking and Stylish Baker? Obviously, and that's what
Yeah,
I'm addressing.
quite interesting. Yeah.
The most,
Oh
the
yeah,
most
you starting.
it's the most progressive.
Okay, so basically, I was like active on Instagram. I would just post things that I just baked, or tried out new recipes, and usually it was like French chefs that I just was, they would post their recipes, and I just tried replicating those and things like that. And then um, on Instagram, like my following started like picking up momentum, and people were very like interested in what I was posting. And it was like especially like the tools and the molds that I was using, because I would always like bring back everything that I would see like when I traveled. So like if I saw a lovely cake tin or like a really nice mold, I would like bring it back with me. And then I used these like when I was posting on Instagram, and then there was so much of interest. Like people were so excited, like, oh, where did you get that? And where will I find it? And also like the ingredients, it's very specialized. So then I suggested to my sister, because we both love baking, I was like, we need to like open an online store and stock these molds and ingredients, because people can't get them in South Africa. I mean, we bring it in our suitcase, and there must be like tons of people like us.
Yeah.
So we started the Stylish Baker, and the reason why it was called the Stylish Baker is because if you think of like a chef, usually, or baker, they like very like comfy shoes, like these clogs and like chef gear, and we like not like that at all. I mean, we love style and fashion. So we really wanted to show people that you can be like really stylish and still bake
Yes.
and produce these beautiful baked items.
I love that, and that's exactly it. And that's really what drew my attention as well on your feed and on social media, Instagram and your YouTube is, first of all, it's feminine baking. It's beautiful. So, and I think the outfits are just as gorgeous as the baking.
And also like you can be like presentable and look after yourself, even though you are like baking and like working with your hands. And usually some people tend to like neglect themselves,
Yeah.
because they put so much into their like their work and things like that. So it's important to look after yourself and still like put a lot into your work and passion.
Yes. No, I completely agree. And that comes to life with everything visually that you guys have created. But I'm interested to know, did you full-time go into baking? Was it a side hustle? Did you sort of have to build up, like where did your career sort of start?
Okay, so initially, I trained as a skincare therapist. That was always my passion, and I had like a very big skincare center in Nelspruit. So I started it in 2011, and I had like a few therapists, and then I expanded, opening up like a hair bar, and that was really my passion. Like I loved skincare and the whole beauty industry. But on the side, I always baked. So I would bake and invite my friends for tea parties. I would host a salon event and then like make all the bakes, like make it like amazing for all my clients. So that passion was still there, but it was never like the main focus. And then when we opened this online store, at the same time, my daughter actually started high school and she was schooling in Joburg. So she stayed with my sister, and I would anyways travel up and down to see her. And yeah, so it was a bit difficult, like juggling the two, because I would be like in the week in Nelspruit, in the weekends come see her in Joburg. And the salon still went. I still try to focus a lot of time on that, because like it's a hands-on job. People come to you, they love you, your touch, your personality. It's like a connection you have with your clients. And then we started our pastry school. So with the pastry school, we started like traveling to Cape Town and then doing more classes in Joburg. And then I found like it was really difficult to kind of like find a balance. Yes. And also like managing staff and traveling all the time. That was like a huge challenge. Mm. So then, then like I just made a decision last year that no, I just can't do it, because I found that I wasn't giving 100% to my skincare center. Yes. And like for me, if I do something, it has to be like 100%, like the best. So it wasn't fair to my clients, because people would want to come and I wasn't available, trying to reschedule, managing staff. Yeah, no. So I just made the decision then that I had to choose.
Okay, so I didn't actually hear it was a year. I didn't realize it was a year ago. I thought it was much longer.
Yeah, it was actually September 2019 that I decided to like close my skincare center and just like do like a smaller home salon for my very loyal, very like clients that have been with me for like 18 years. I just do their treatments. And then it's also flexible. I don't have pressure.
Yes.
You know?
Well, you must
because when you have staff and overheads, sorry.
No. That is very draining. I don't know how you manage to juggle so many balls and being a mother.
No. Yeah, it's very demanding. It was getting like a bit much.
Well, okay, so you've clearly got you're very talented within an eye for both aesthetics and your hands. And what would you say, especially now that you've decided to just focus on the stylish baker and this sort of field, what would you say your biggest like fulfillments within your job? Like, what do you love day to day?
Okay, so I love obviously being creative. I think like I'm so creative. I'm always busy with projects and like flowers and like everything. But the most fulfilling thing is like sharing a recipe, and then like somebody tries it, and then they like their family loves it, and they're so happy with the result, and then they share that joy with you. That's like so amazing, and it's such a good feeling. And also like just empowering other businesses. So like I share a recipe on my Instagram, and then like a home industry, she uses this recipe and her clients love it, and then it's like increasing her income. And yeah, so those sort of things from a day-to-day perspective is like very fulfilling.
Yes, I can imagine. And seeing other people creating your...
Yes, and then they like send you so much of love, and they're so happy, like thank you for sharing, like my husband loved this cake, or my kids love this biscuit, or yeah, it's very nice.
And would you say you experienced a certain failure that sort of set you up for success, or any sort of hurdles and challenges that come to mind in the past that you really learned from?
Yeah, I'm just thinking, like I would say the most difficult thing from all the experience that I have had in like industry and working is just like staff management. Like managing staff, and you have to be so understanding, and like I always try to be the best boss that I could be, but it's difficult when people start taking advantage, so for me now, like I don't have a lot of staff, and it's just better, because I feel like you can get like people in your space and things, but like just like you can't control everything. And then like if a staff member has an issue at home, then she doesn't come to work, then I'm in Joburg trying to kind of sort out what's happening at the salon, scheduling the clients, even though there is a receptionist, you know,
Yes.
things like that. Or she has an emergency, her child had an accident at school. So those were big learning curves and lessons. So I think it's just about being more understanding. That's what I've learned from that. Like
Yes.
understanding and just like kind of, you can't control everything.
So
Some things are out of your control.
I can
Yeah.
so relate to that as well, running a PR agency. It's funny because one of the most rewarding parts is empowering and employing, but at the same time, one of
Yes,
the most draining parts is giving.
exactly.
And
Yeah,
then there's always
definitely.
something small that goes wrong. And it's like,
And
you
you
know,
just can't control it. It's out of your control.
and they always say, don't bring your issues to work. But when you also in the environment that I created, I wanted an open
Yeah,
door policy. So you get stuck with the baggage as well.
exactly. And especially like in my industry was female employees. And I mean, being a mom, there's always going to be issues, sick kids or
Yes.
accidents that happen at school. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
you just have to learn to just be more accommodating, understanding. So that was something that I really learned through that.
Yes, that's great. I also have very much PR, female driven, always surrounded by females. You do. You learn how to become more compassionate and understanding and patient.
And accommodating, hey? Like you have to be so accommodating.
Totally. And then also, what would you say if sort of success is determined by having purpose, what would you say your purpose is?
Okay, so for me, I love like community work or just always trying to do things for less fortunate. So if I can use like my platform to help people raise awareness for like issues that happen in the world. So say like Lebanese, what happened there, like try to help raise funds for that, or like with COVID, using my platform for that. I think that is really fulfilling for me. And also like just empowering women to be able to like increase their worth. So if you're a home industry, like I'm happy to help you. You can attend our classes if you need support. We're there for you. You can use our recipes to obviously improve your business, things like that.
Yes, that's beautiful. And so you've traveled quite a bit. And
Yeah, and that was like a thing in the past now. I used to travel, yeah.
and travel both leisurely and for work.
Yeah, so yeah, I love traveling. I would usually like, I love Paris, so often I'd go there a few times a year and then combine a pastry course, a masterclass with one of the good, like the best chefs. So it would be like almost work and pleasure. And I mean, Paris is the capital of beautiful things, especially pastry. So it's a great place to draw inspiration. So I
Okay.
would often try to like do like business and pleasure at the same time.
And then how do you feel? Because I mean, yeah, you've got an incredible, engaging following and community. And how did you go about it? You also entered that competition. Like, how did that all
Yeah.
come into play?
Okay, so exactly. So my Instagram just grew with like sharing the recipes, baking, all of that. And then I had to use that platform to kind of get people to vote for me. So it was like a community-based project, getting the people to vote, and that was like amazing. I definitely say the Lancewood was like a huge step for me. I found that my followers grew. People started noticing me that saw me on TV, and it was more recognizable, like my name, and people attended our pastry classes. Yeah, it was definitely a huge advantage winning that.
And
The
so
PR.
just recap for those who are watching or listening, what exactly did the competition entail? Um, yes, for those who aren't.
Okay, so yeah, it was actually it was strange because I wasn't going to enter, but my sister-in-law, she's a lot older than me. She lives next door, and I always send baking for her because that's what I do. Like I bake and I share the baking with my neighbors. because I mean, everybody should share in the happiness. So
God.
she always like gives me feedback. Oh, she loves it. And then she came across the Lancewood competition in, I think it was a newspaper, and she sent me the picture and she's like, oh, you have to enter this, you're gonna win. And then I was like, okay, I was thinking about, I was like, okay, let me just enter. So basically you had to create a recipe using the Lancewood products. And yeah, so I think I entered 2 recipes. I think there were like over 1,000 and something entries. And then it was like a social media campaign. We had to get people to vote for us, and that was so stressful. It was like bringing in like just like messaging people and campaigning. So then I got into the top 3, and then obviously we had to do the whole bake-off thing at the studio in Cape Town, and then the judges tasted it, and then they obviously voted the best creation.
Amazing. That's awesome.
No, it was so exciting.
Can't imagine. And now that you've sort of honed down your focus on just the baking side of things, what does the future hold? What are you always creating? What do you want to achieve next?
Okay, so I'm actually glad that I can just focus on the baking, because I have my recipe book launching this week. Well, the pre-sales start next week Wednesday, but the campaign starts this week Wednesday, and it will be in store on the 21st of October. So I have a lot of time and energy now to focus on that and really like drive that project. And I mean, that's been like a labor of love, because I mean, I talked about having a recipe book for years. My husband was like, oh, you should do a recipe book. And I was like, yes, I'm going to do like ice creams. I'm going to do cakes. I always talked about it. And then like getting the whole project into motion. And then like last year I was like, no, this is the year I'm doing my recipe book. So I really got into it. And I think that will be my passion now. And then also like creating more content on YouTube, trying to maybe get some TV time, things like that.
Yeah, exciting. A lot happening. And that's on the side is, like you said, the social media campaigning is probably part of the hardest. I find when you put work into like a recipe book, etc., it's hard work, but the almost the harder work is the campaigning and the promotion.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. I think
And
so.
do you have a team that supports you with the different aspects?
Yeah, so I have a PR company that helps me. Eclipse, they are doing my whole recipe book rollout.
Yeah.
And yeah, they've been amazing. So they always have lots of good ideas. Yeah, so that's been exciting.
That's awesome to have, especially so that you can hone in on your craft. And so
Exactly.
before we end off, I actually wanted to hear from you. Anyone sort of listening or watching who are really wanting to pursue, this so-called side hustle that they're really passionate about, but what sort of advice would you have for those to go after their passion?
I think that is so important. The most important thing is to do what you love. I know that that's so cliched, and people often don't get that opportunity because you need to make a living. But you should definitely start on the side, like pursuing your passion, and like, because I feel like if you really are good at what you love, you can really make a career out of it, because your passion will really flow through. And it doesn't matter what it is. I mean, like baking. I mean, I don't bake to sell, but it's definitely something that other people are benefiting from. So there's so much of fulfillment coming from that. And yeah, I think no matter what it is, even if it's like painting, if you like painting, then do it, because maybe you become this like really great artist, and then you can sell your paintings, and then that will be your career. So yeah.
Completely. And then to end off, any sort of a tip that you would give your 20-year-old self, or anything that you've learned over the years that you wish you sort of knew at like in your young 20s?
Yeah, I would definitely say like patience is not my strongest point. And that is something I would definitely have had more of, because I find that I often want quick results. I'm not always willing to like wait, and that's not a very strong point. Certain projects or certain things that you do, you need to be patient, and you need to like think it through, don't make a very quick decision, things like that. So I would say that would be the most important thing, like patience, like just always just be patient, like think it through and wait for the best results. Just don't rush it.
So true. When you don't rush things, things just happen to flow.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
well, thanks so much for your time, and it was lovely
And
chatting.
thank you for having me on your platform. It was lovely chatting to you too.
It's a big pleasure, and I'm looking forward to all the exciting things that you are still
Yeah,
creating.
watch my Instagram for my recipe book rollout. It's going to be amazing. I'm so
Yes,
excited to share it. It's such a beautiful book. It's so much of passion in there.
amazing. And anything else that like your social media is to go, if that's to judge with what's to come with the recipe book, I can only imagine it's going to be a beautiful coffee table book as well.
Yeah, yeah, no. I'm sure I think lots of people are going to have fun with that, baking and experimenting.
Amazing. I wish you were my neighbor and you dropped off treats every
Yeah.
day.
I hear it.
Thank you so much. It was lovely chatting.